Creek 15th Annual White Woodland Easter Basket have been spoken for here at QVC2. We kicked this off at 9 o'clock last night with Mr. Shore, and I got to tell you, we're at our final presentation. It is the charm of spring, the charm of Jim Shore. For 15 years he's been doing this, but never before in White Woodland, and we have it for you only at QVC. The animals, the critters, the color that makes White Woodland special, the softness of the White Woodland is truly hypnotic. There's so much detail to talk about. It's $42.12 at a big deal price, which is a steal of a big deal, and on 2 easy payments of $21.06. Again, close to 5,000 now spoken for. We wait for these every year, but why did you choose now to finally bring us your White Woodland?
Well, you know, one of the best things about this is the fact that it is an exclusive. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't do very many of those, you know, and I do them for QVC and the people that have been, you know, collecting the basket, you know, line. Mm-hmm. This is, you know, absolutely a must. But you know, for anybody else, you know, it's if they want to collect some of my artwork, they will have the opportunity to collect something that's only going to be available in this one time in this one place. Mm-hmm. And that makes this kind of a special and somewhat rare, you know, rare piece. Now, what's behind the design motif that I've done here, which is called the White Woodland, you know, early on, well, let me go back up just a minute.
Okay.
I do a lot of different kinds of artwork.
And you sell globally too, by the way.
Well,
I want everybody to realize that.
We're in 18,000 gift shops around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, I know.
Well, you know, but, because you touch a lot of people's soul with what you do in your artwork.
Well, you know, what we consider or has been called Americana, mm-hmm. you know, that's almost a misnomer because, you know, what that is an early American interpretation of what is a classical European design style.
Okay.
It is the Norwegian rosemalling, the German Fraktur, the Dutch Hendelopen. Those are all styles that come out of the Rococo, you know, design period. The Rococo is recognizable because it's a C and an S with embellishments, and that's what the Pennsylvania Dutch, which is actually Deutsch.
Deutsch, absolutely.
You know, that's what it's all about, but it's in a sort of a crude kind of, you know, folk art way, because these weren't artists doing it. They were just people that wanted something that was pretty, and so that's what I look at, and I think that is so charming and so innocent. I absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I'm known basically as a colorist, so most of my pieces that represent Heartwood Creek or represent the co-brands and everything are just packed full and chock full of all kinds of color. But for my personal use and the things that I do for my family and the things that I do for my wife and my friends and so forth, it could be any you know, a number of different things. And the colorway that I often do for them is this sort of mild, neutral, mm-hmm. Easy to decorate around, decor-driven things. Okay, but that I didn't consider that early on to even, you know, put it in front of my, you know, my buying customer base, you know, my collectors and stuff, because it was a little bit of a departure. Mm-hmm. Well, I did a fairly large and fairly detailed St. Francis in whites, and it was had the details of the animals and this kind of stuff in it, of what it represented and all that kind of thing. And my friend said, "Look, you have got to put this out there on the marketplace. It's too pretty to just be one piece." You know?
Right, but it was so different. Were you nervous?
I felt like it was different, and I was not exactly nervous, but I was just unsure. You know, I know that people, you know, I do the, you know, like the blue nativity, and I do the turkey red, and I do the black and gold, and I do the things that are a little bit of a departure.
Sure.
And I've done River's End and all this kind of thing. But it's all fits, and I wasn't sure whether this was going to fit, so I went to my license and I said, you know, I want to try this, and they, you know, agreed. And they said they'd take a chance on it, and we came out with an initial offering of some of my iconic, you know, categories like the Santa, the snowman, the angels, and so forth, and also St. Francis, and they just were wildly, accepted.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Largely, I think, because of the fact that it is neutral, and while the others are art pieces that stand out, and there they are, boom, sometimes they dominate the area because of their color and everything, and but these are something you can decorate around.
So
and this
softly
piece, and
spoken.
see, this piece is no different. And now what I want people to look at when they see this piece is, of course, it's got a lot of interesting details all over the place. That's what I do. All of the eggs that come along with it, they're all different. And when you think about the fact that I've done this for 15 years, and you can't deviate from the fact that it's a basket and it's eggs.
Yep.
But each one of them have to be completely different, completely original, and completely standalone, and all that kind of stuff, and still be recognizable as my
yours,
as my artwork,
sure.
Including all 4 or 5 of the eggs that I do every year, year after year after year. Not to mention the 4 seasons baskets that I do year after year with the same thing. So you can do the math, and you realize that there's a lot of pieces in this theme. That creates a little bit of a challenge, but the nice thing about this is that this is such that it doesn't have to be considered Easter, spring, or any particular season. This is a.
I'm going to turn him around.
This is probably
my favorite. Hold on.
This is probably more of this. We call it an Easter basket, but this is probably more of a year-round basket than anything I've presented yet.
Well, I think so.
Because if you imagine it, since it has a woodland, sort of theme to the motif. You could imagine this as a decoration, a spray, and this is what my wife Janice loves to do. She'll take a piece like this as a centerpiece, and away you go. She would say, okay, we're going to make this into a fall piece. So she's putting, oak leaves and maple leaves and
sure, because the squirrel's
pine cones.
He's collecting nuts for the winter.
All that kind of stuff, and then that's what she trails out here with.
Trails it out.
And if it's a spring piece, then she's got all these, she's got silver ornaments, and she's got, pastel things in there along with the eggs, and maybe some of that grass and this kind of thing. And boom, it's a spring thing. Or she could do the same thing for Christmas.
Because your softly spoken colors that are here, it could be light blue, pastel-y for spring, but then it's turning like this moody gray blue for fall and winter.
Exactly.
The peach color here could be peachy spring, but then the orange rust of fall coming in. The green, the tips of green on the leaves. I mean, this is unbelievable, the detail. Thank you. Well, I can appreciate something that's beautiful, and this absolutely is,
And
Jim.
what I urge people to do is to take a piece like this and use your imagination and your own creativity, and it could be something that'll you can bond with your kids over. It's just an awful lot of fun to have something like this, as a piece of real artwork that you can actually use. It's not something that's just going to sit there on a mantle, something to look at. This thing can be with you every season, every year. It can be part of your family history. It can be part of your traditions, and that's one of the, I think, most heartwarming things that I hear. When people tell me how they've used my artwork and what it's meant to them and what it's represented. Whether they, whether it's a gift for something or a gift they've received, and all that sort of thing, and they bring it out, and the kids know, we're bringing out Jim Shore's Nativity, it's Christmas time. Or they bring out the Easter basket,
They wait for
all of those things when spring's coming around the corner, because now we know it is. And,
it's the anticipation of the holiday and the decorating of the holiday. As a little girl, I remember the decorations my grandmother would have, and I couldn't wait for her to put them out because I'd run to them when I'd walk in the door. Like this basket I'd run to, and I'd say, oh, the owl's mine, My brother, would say probably the fox is his, because I love the fact here. Let me show you the fox. There's a fox on here. I love that you included a fox.
And he's very friendly with the bunnies that are holding hands over there. I want to make that perfectly clear.
I love that. The birds that look like they're almost about to kiss. I don't know what you have them doing up there, mister.
Well, you never know, but when it comes
or it could be a mommy looking at a baby bird of encouragement. Go ahead, take your first flight.
Sure.
Why not? By the way, this is, it looks like this is hand carved out of wood. It is hand carved and it's all hand painted. It looks like it's wood. It's not. It's resin. Talk to me a little bit about resin.
Well, one thing that I love about the pieces that I do, when these things are produced, this isn't a factory effort.
Right.
This is more like a studio effort because this is art. We're not cranking, doll heads out of an injection molder, something like that. These are all handmade, and you
So
can.
no two will be alike.
Well,
exactly alike.
Well, what it
anyway.
is the casting process. When I create the original and everything, get all through that part of it. That's just the beginning. Then we go through a molding process where we mold the tooling, and then we do production molds. But it's turned over to a craftsman, and he mixes up our mix of resin, which is a polyester and stone resin.
Okay.
We pulverize stone into a powder, mix it with the resin, and it turns out with this kind of almost a stony type of material when it hardens. But he prepares the molds, and he hand pours the thing.
Wow.
And when it starts to catalyze and so forth, he takes it out, and they're hand, what they call fettled, which is the cleanup process. They're hand etched with an alkali. It's all done by hand. And
There's
so
your signature.
So each, there we go. That's me.
Right there on each of the eggs. Here's something I want to just point out.
Okay.
300 have been spoken for just in
indeed.
the last couple minutes. This is our final presentation of Jim's 15th annual White Woodland Easter basket. Our final presentation, I should say, of the big deal, which gives you a wonderful price on this, gives you a wonderful easy pay to get it home for $21 and change, but all of that will go away when the big deal ends. And this is something you'll only find here at QVC, even though Jim is in 18 countries around the globe. You have owls, you have birds, you have deer, you have bunnies holding hands, you have the fox, you get the 4 eggs, each one individually different from the other. It's truly a collector's piece, as all of them are. But for 15 years, if you've been collecting, here is the first time that you get the Easter basket in the White Woodland. So it's very, very special. Again, the soft colors make this easy to incorporate into what you may already have. I know Genevieve is watching on Facebook. She says her nephew collects Jim Shore and has for years. If you do, please give us a call.
I'm always gratified to hear that sort of thing, But what you just mentioned, I think, is the coolest part of it. And like I said, I'm in 18,000 gift shops around the world, and you can go to Australia, you can go to South Africa, you can go all over the European continent, and in South America and so forth, and in Greece, and in all these places, and all the gift shops where I'm in, you can go in there and you will never see this piece.
Yeah.
You'll see everything else of the hundreds of pieces that I've designed, but you won't see this one.
Nope, it's
because
truly
this is done just for the folks that you and I work for. And they're watching today, and it's a special piece, sort of my way of saying thank you for the support that they've given to us. It means so much, and it really does. That's not just a platitude. I really mean it. I mean, when I come to QVC, the most important part of it, and I hate to say this, but it's not the sales end of it. That's y'all's, purview. With me, it's the connection that I make from my heart to their heart, because that's why I do my work. When I do my work, I'm thinking about how is this going to affect somebody? Is it going to please them? Is it going to make them happy? Or is it they're going to pass it on to their grandchild? Or is it for their grandchild? Or does it represent something? An anniversary or a celebration of some sort, just like this piece will, and this piece will be representative of something, even if it's just the coming of spring or something like that. And they can have their children's and their grandchildren's names printed on these eggs, or inside the bowl, and it can be something that's exclusive to the family. It means something.
Sure, absolutely.
And when I'm working on that stuff, I hope and pray that what I'm doing actually means something. That it's got value, and it's sometimes a figurine is more than just a figurine, and that's what I hope and pray that it is.
Absolutely, and could be, again, I mean, even in a baby's room, this could be a signature or a momentum of a new baby coming into the family. It's not just Easter per se. Of course, it has the eggs. We bring it to you now because for 15 years, Jim's been doing his Easter baskets. But here it is, only QVC. We have only a couple seconds to talk about. Don't worry, we'll have another presentation at the end of the show, but this is our final hour showing the big deal, so I do not want you to miss out on this. Again, more than 300 now spoken for. This is on Easy Pay, which means if you order with a credit card, You can break up the price into 2 monthly payments of $21.06. Easy Pay costs you nothing extra to take advantage of. Just order with your credit card and get this home, whether it's your first piece or your 100